When the first white shark attack in Massachusetts in over 75 years made national headlines in 2012, it was impossible not to think of Jaws, the iconic horror movie filmed on Martha's Vineyard that instilled terror in a generation of beachgoers. The bite suffered by a swimmer at Ballston Beach on Cape Cod was non-life-threatening, but just like in the movie, it left town officials wrestling with how to protect people from white sharks, which appear to be returning to the Cape's beaches every summer to feast on abundant gray seals. However, times have changed, and unlike the residents of Amity Island, the Cape Cod community is not gripped with fear and calling for local fishermen to help hunt down and destroy all sharks. Instead, there's great interest in learning more about this rare and protected species of shark, and fishermen have been called on to help, assisting in efforts to tag white sharks by harpoon and partnering with scientists through the nonprofit organization OCEARCH. But the story of sharks in New England waters goes beyond the headline-grabbing white shark. There are a number of other shark species in our waters, and sport fishermen who fish for them responsibly can also help scientists learn more about these ultimate apex predators, all while enjoying a great day on the water. And that's where we start today with On the Water's Chris Megan as he heads out with Captain Mike Pierdinock aboard the Perseverance with Massachusetts State Scientist Dr. Greg Skomal to experience some exciting shark fishing action and learn more about the sharks of New England.
If you ever want to get out here, guys, and you want some great action, the blue sharks, geez, I swear you can start 10 miles south of the islands. We have some great guests on today, and we're hoping to get at some sharks, introduce you to some folks that I think know a little bit more than I do about sharking.
Yeah, we're gonna, as you said, 3 of them are gonna be out there hooked up with pogies, with butterflies, and we take the hook, we take a wire, put it through its eyeballs, wire it around the hook, and then we set them out.
We're gonna throw these on. I know we gotta float out the back this way. We already got some shearwaters coming in. I saw it back here. It was a real good sign.
That's good news.
Slick
Yep,
going, so.
see them. They're part of the, part of the situation here.
So what is this made up of?
Well, sometimes it's just made up of bunker, menhaden.
Just ground up?
Or it could be mackerel, bluefish. It just depends.
Anything that's gonna give you a real oil.
Nice oil.
We got 3 baits out. We got the furthest one back is on the surface. The intermittent one here is gonna be about 20 feet down, 25 feet down. We got the close one, which is gonna be right 50, 60 feet down. We've already had a little bit of activity up in the slick. We're not up to full strike. We're about 2/3, 3/4 of the way up. Want this fish to hit, run a little bit, and then we'll adjust from there once this fish is on. We got a spotter up top that said he just saw some blue sharks coming in, so we're hoping that this is gonna go off. Sharking's a lot of getting everything set out and just sitting back and waiting. So we got the bait set out there. Let's see what happens. The nice thing about these blue sharks too, a lot of times if you get a shark that's very interested, you can actually reel that bait all the way right up to the boat. So this fishery can become very visual. You can see these sharks, you can come up, you can almost pick the shark sometimes. I've seen them so thick in the spread, you can almost pick the shark you want to feed.
Good shark.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Right here, he's got it right now.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
You got him.
Got a nice shark on the line here, and I'm pretty confident it's a blue shark, which is really the most abundant large shark in the Atlantic Ocean. Once you get into blue sharks, you typically get into more than one. So we're likely to be fishing blue sharks for a while here. And then people underestimate the blue dog. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of power. It can really give you a run for its money. This is a shark that can get to be over 500 pounds. I think people think that it's a smaller, snaky shark, but no, it can be very, very powerful. The thing about shark fishing is it tends to get crazy and messy, and you sit around a long time, you get complacent, and suddenly the rod goes off, mayhem breaks out, total chaos. The key is to keep the cockpit completely organized. Know where your gear is, know where your harness is. Be organized, because there's a lot of sitting around, and when all hell breaks loose, you want to make sure that somebody doesn't end up in the water and a shark doesn't end up in the cockpit. Here she comes. Oh! Another good run left in it. Look at that pilot fish. Yeah.
Off to the side. Yeah, that one's not getting de-hooked. Okay, shark tournaments, there's a lot of shark tournaments up and down the coast. There's a great one right here on the Vineyard. I myself haven't gotten involved in them. I have no problem with anyone that does get involved in them. I was happy when they removed the blue sharks from there because I don't see the purpose behind the blue sharks in there.
There's no reason to take a fish that you're not going to eat. You know, the mako, the thresher, the poor beagle are those that are most palatable.
A fish that when you harvest it, you can eat.
Yeah, when you harvest it, you eat it, and that's the way it should be, really. You know, now legally, you're allowed one shark per day, you know, mako, blue, poor beagle, thresher, and a 54-inch minimum size, which is not that's a 4.5-foot shark. It's not a very big fish.
4.5, what is that going, 50, 60 pounds?
Yeah, if that. It depends on the species, but you know, typically it's a small animal, and that's something to really remember when it comes to sharks. They grow super slow, so they can take decades to mature, and they have very, very low numbers of young, which means that it doesn't take. You don't have to kill that many before you over-harvest the population. And that's why we have to be very, very, very conservative when it comes to harvesting sharks. And in the United States, we've done that. The problems you hear about, you know, shark populations typically occur in other countries that have not adopted, you know, conservative fishing strategies. Good old sharking. Hurry up and wait.
That's exactly it, isn't it?
Hurry up and wait.
I know for those folks at home who haven't done any sharking but would like to get into it, what are you using for rigging?
Sure. I'll first start with the hook. It's a 12-aught hook. You can use a 10-aught or a 12-aught hook. The mako hooks are a little thicker, a little bit more durable. If you notice, this is not welded shut.
Yeah.
With the mako hooks, bigger ones, it's welded shut. So this is good for blue dogs. I mean, not you can't catch a mako on it, but there's more
You're
potential.
gonna play them out a little bit longer.
More potential for failure. So with that, I use 18 gauge wire. You know, it's like 350, 400 pounds. There are some people that use 12 gauge, 14 gauge. I personally don't like it because you have more of a chance of, you know, the blue dogs getting all wrapped up in it. So this gives you less of a likelihood of that, but you know, not to say it still doesn't happen. So there we go, we've hooked up.
There he is.
Boy, he's hot, whatever he is. Whatever he is, he came in pretty hot.
Here we go. Oh, here we go.
You're on.
Underneath. I don't know, no. Yep.
Fish on. Fish on.
He doesn't know he's even hooked yet.
No, he doesn't.
Now he does.
Yep. Oh, wow. It's moving, it's moving. Wait Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah, until he heard you.
I think he heard you. Nice. Nice. Whoa, look at that fish. Yeah, that's a nice one. Swimming them nice.
Good.
Let me know if it's going. You got it? Oh, got that?
My Cap's got him. It's a male. It's a male. Here's another one. That's a couple of sharks.
I think there's
here.
a couple of them.
Yeah, that's a smaller one. There's two right there. Bang, bang. So we've got the aquarium scenario unfolding right here where lots of sharks are hanging around, lots of chum in the water. If you've been shark fishing a lot, you say, oh no, another blue shark. But if you've never gone shark fishing,
it is so cool.
It is
really
fun
is.
to reel
really
these fish in.
It is.
Treat them right, let them go. No need to bring them in. They don't taste very good. It's a great fishery out here, and it's a guaranteed catch. And if you want to show kids sharks, go 10 miles south of Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket Islands, east of the Cape, set up a chum slick, and you'll have them all around the boat like this in no time. We got a blue shark tag here. This is a conventional tag. And the conventional tag is very straightforward. It's a little marker you put on the fish. You get 2 data points, where and when you tagged it, and then where and where you recaptured it. So it's
If
you
we
have to
tag
catch
him
it.
now, you're going to get an estimate on his weight, estimate on his size and all that. We'll document today's date, where we got him and all of that.
Yep.
And then we'll wait to see if this tag gets picked up somewhere down the road.
Exactly, exactly. This is a tagging program been run by the National Marine Fisheries Service since the early 60s. So we're almost coming up on basically 50 years of
that's
tagging
incredible.
sharks. And they've tagged over 200,000 sharks
That's
with these
incredible.
conventional tags.
So now you just put the tag on. Where's the best place to clip it? Is it one place better than another?
Right at the base of the dorsal fin.
Okay.
Right at the base of the, so the fin right up on top, right at the base of that we want to hit.
Least
because
intrusive on the
it's
fish
least
whatsoever.
intrusive. I like to think of it as like, running up to somebody and
Putting an
piercing
earring
their
in
ear.
there. Okay. Yeah, let's tag him right here.
He wants to give me another shot.
Oh, you got him that time.
Nice, perfect.
Bang. Well, one thing, New England is fascinated with sharks. We've had great whites off the coast of Chatham. I know that's brought a lot of popularity to sharks here, along with a movie that was out, we'll say 30 years ago now, that I think brought a lot of popularity. We're going to set the spread back out there. We're going to get back to it. Hopefully, we'll see what comes in. You never know. You're watching On the Water TV. Hang with us.
After the break, we head aboard the OCEARCH to learn more about white sharks. In the summer of 2013, ocean explorer Chris Fisher brought the research vessel OCEARCH to the waters off Cape Cod to attempt the capture, tag, and release of a white shark. On the Water was invited aboard to learn how this partnership between a crew of fishermen and the most prominent shark scientists in the world came about, and how it could help save the white shark.
I'm here with Chris Fisher, expedition leader and founding chairman of OCEARCH.
Thanks
Chris,
for having me, man.
Great to be here. This is incredible to be sitting where we're sitting right now. We're anchored up on the OCEARCH off of Chatham, Massachusetts, and explain exactly what we're sitting on right now and what you're doing out here off Cape Cod.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're sitting in the shark cradle. This actual platform goes up and over the side, and this is where we pick up our white sharks for scientists from a half a dozen different institutions here. And for the first time in their careers, they'll have access to live, mature white sharks that we can then release alive and track and kind of answer all those science questions they never dreamed they'd have a chance to answer.
Getting anywhere?
I got it like a centimeter.
Of blood?
Yeah.
That's okay, we'll take what we can get.
Okay, spot tag's done. Okay, let's call out the total length. Stretch it out.
Total length is 12 feet,
I'm gonna go
7
in.
inches.
All right, 12
Now, a
feet,
lot of
7
our viewers probably recognize you and know you from your past show when you were a recreational fisherman.
Yeah,
And you got to
offshore
go
adventures.
offshore adventures. You got to go sport fishing all over the world. Why the transition to now where you're doing more scientific work?
Sometime around 06 or 07 when we were helping scientists, and I started to see that World-class fishermen and professional mariners needed to be working more closely with world-class scientists. So we bring these two people, the practical and the academic, together, and then we have the best data we've ever had to manage the ocean as we move forward.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So we were helping the scientists in billfish and tuna, and one of those people happened to be a white shark scientist, and they said, you know, we don't know much about our big sharks, and if we lose our sharks, we will lose the ocean. They're the lion of the ocean. They're the balance keepers. We don't know where they breed. We don't know where the baby white sharks are. Where's the nursery? So therefore, we can't affect policy to protect them unless we know where and what to protect. So it was really just the fact that it was where the biggest single need was.
You've interacted with white sharks in different places around the world. What's different about white sharks in Cape Cod? What have you seen from your work here?
Everywhere else we've worked, there's been cage diving. And so the sharks are really, it seems like they are used to boats and used to coming up to boats and used to, you know, checking things out, hugely curious. So we've not seen such a nervous body of fish, such a virgin kind of group of fish. I think it really makes your white sharks very, very different than anywhere else.
It's funny, typically in fishing you think the fish that are virgin fish that haven't been acclimated to people are less wary and easier to catch.
Oh, not these white sharks, no.
You need them to actually get used to boats.
I guess. I mean, right now they're so nervous and so skittish that they come in and they smell, they sniff around and they're gone.
So how do you use your sport fishing background and your fishing experience? Do you try and use that at all when you're trying to figure out how do we get these sharks to actually...
We use it on the presentation, you know, just trying to make sure everything is natural. A lot of it's getting where you get located, right? Finding them.
Coming under. Go forward. Safe boat, just a contender, we're hooked up. Can't stop it.
Big, mature female shark. We're standing by, we're ready to go.
And I think the biggest thing that we've really been able to bring into this arena of science that came from recreational fishing was, I feel like we got really, really good at catching and releasing fish alive. And I think bringing that knowledge into this world and trying to capture something like this and nurture it through the process so you get a good release on it really is the accumulation of everything we kind of learned in our recreational fishing lives. I mean, look at what we're doing. We are recreational fishermen coming together with world-class scientists to solve the great white shark puzzle, the life history puzzle.
There she goes.
Good luck, old girl! Imagine if we could inspire your best striper fisherman here to take your local scientist out here to advance his striper science to make sure you have the best data to manage your policy correctly. We're disrupting the institutional approach to research and the one institution getting ahead of the other. By forcing collaboration in the only place in the world where they can work on these, all the institutions come together and then you put the ocean first. It's for everyone to be a part of solving the puzzle. And that's what's changed the conversation around the shark. We're able to come out here, do this research, include the community, include the news, give all the information away, and then putting it out so the public can follow at the exact same time online as the PhDs to kind of give the ocean back a global voice again. It hasn't happened in 2 generations, and the ocean is just getting hammered because of that. 200,000 sharks will be finned today. 200,000 sharks will be finned today. 73 million this year. People don't know that. Suddenly they're coming to see your research because it's so compelling and it's so groundbreaking, and we're sharing all the data, open sourcing everything, and then you can say, hey, did you know sharks are in trouble? And if there is no robust path forward for the ocean without our sharks, and people are like, what? And it shifts the whole conversation around sharks to one of fear. It shifts it toward one of curiosity, respect, and, you know, and nurturing, which I think you're seeing happen in Cape Cod right now.
Absolutely.
The conversation has totally changed here compared to what it was years ago. And because of that, I think it's been the most collaborative project we've ever had with the local community. The guys are fishing so hard, they want to catch one for town bad. Because town has been so good to us. And that's really great when you're away from home all the time. You know, and you come to a place and people make you feel at home.
We're happy to have you up here in the Northeast, and you're welcome back at any time. So.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be here. You know, you got a special place here. It's one of the few places in the world where white sharks gather predictably. There's only a handful in the world, and we need to take advantage of that to try to understand what are they doing here, when are they coming, when are they going. We're fishing for our kids, we're fishing for our future, not for us to catch a big one. To create a sustainable future for the ocean while we educate our kids. That is how you make a global impact on the future of the ocean.
Welcome back to On the Water TV. Today we're on board the OCEARCH, an incredible research vessel that's studying white sharks off the coast of Massachusetts. We're going to go talk to Dr. Greg Skomal of the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries. Now, you've heard a lot about white sharks in this area, but today we're going to get some of the facts and learn more about the science of sharks in New England.
So here we are in New England with the most charismatic shark in the world, the great white shark. And typically most people don't think of this part of the world when it comes to sharks, but we have lots of different species. You know, by far the most abundant in the Atlantic is the blue shark, and for those people who love to catch blue sharks, you can go out any given day in July, August, even into September, catch and release blue sharks all day. I mean, it's great fun. We did that, and sure, we didn't catch any makos, but you know, I have fun catching blue sharks and I have a good time with them. And especially fun for younger anglers who have not had the opportunity to even see sharks. Sometimes just seeing them is worth it. You know, we've got basking sharks, and nobody catches basking sharks, but they're really fun to see. They're really amazing, big 30-foot fish. And then, of course, we got makos, we got threshers. You know, we even have the occasional hammerhead. So, you know, New England does have its share of good offshore fishing for sharks. And you don't necessarily have to go offshore. You know, there are a number of species that occur in our nearshore areas. You know, of course, we're all familiar with the spiny dogfish, the smooth dogfish, and by far most of us don't want to catch them. But if you're out fishing with little kids and you pull in a little shark, these can be really fun for the kids to see and to reel in. So the smaller dogfish sharks certainly are fun for the younger age group and the new anglers out there. But we have sandbar sharks. Now, you can't keep sandbars, but you can get them off the beaches, the southern beaches of Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Cape Cod. You know, sandbars are great fish to fight. You can get them right off the beaches and you release them. You gotta let them go. But it's another good angling fish.
I got a shark on. I got my bass fishing rod, surf rod. But it seems to be working so far. It's coming toward me.
The brown shark, or the sandbar shark, is a species that occurs here generally from late June into early October. Another sand shark is the sand tiger, which is rarely seen by fishermen, but has been caught in increasing numbers north of Cape Cod. Now we're seeing more and more of them. And they're a smaller shark. Most people are familiar with sand tigers because they're held in places like New England Aquarium. But people will catch them while they're bass fishing. And again, you have to let them go. But you know, it's great fun to go out and catch sharks. It's you know, as long as you treat them well and you don't angle them too long and remove the hook if at all possible, and just let them go. You know, white sharks can tend to be a little more coastal, oriented to the coast. Very, will be close to shore, feeding on marine mammals. And they like seals and sea lions and a variety of marine mammals. They scavenge dead whales. We know very little about the white shark. Over the course of my 30 years, I spent a lot of time studying dead sharks. All right. Much of the work I did for the first half of my career was on dead fish. I would go to fishing tournaments, I'd be on research cruises, we would kill sharks, we'd bring them up on board and we would study their biology, but we would learn nothing about their behavior. This is really the first time we can sample blood from a large, I mean, we're talking in excess of a couple thousand pounds, white shark alive on the deck. And having access to live sharks gives us the opportunity to do both. We can study their behavior, their ecology, and we can also study their life history and physiology and anatomy. For the first time on a white shark in the North Atlantic, we've been able to put a real-time satellite tag on one of these fish. Anytime she comes to the surface, it transmits a ping to a satellite which picks it up, relays it back to us, and we can actually track her movements on the shark tracker. When I was in college, I didn't have a personal computer, and now we're strapping them to sharks. We know very little about the white shark, but when you look at the big picture, and you look at the fact that here we are, right off Cape Cod, we've got white sharks showing up in this area, just east of Monomoy Island, every year. I know that we can really I'm in the perfect position, really, to start learning about these animals, and by bringing on the collaborators that I have, you know, we can get a really nice comprehensive look at the biology of this creature for the very first time in the Atlantic Ocean.
In today's new era of respect and appreciation for sharks, sport fishermen who were once regarded as trophy hunters are embracing a new role as scientific collaborators and protectors of the ocean's apex predators. We understand that the more we learn about sharks, the better we are able to protect them and, ultimately, the ocean itself. For more on how you can get involved in shark fishing and shark science, visit onthewater.com.